Hi, my name is Tyvis Powell, former Ohio State Buckeye and national champion DB. Welcome to the Buckeye Cast. These guys was born and bred in the Buckeye State, and they like to talk Buckeye football and drink bourbon. Subscribe to the show. Now pour up a drink and pull up a stool. Here's your host, Joe Warwick. Get him, Joe.
All right, Tyvis, we appreciate you. Welcome into your Buckeye Rush Hour for a Friday, November 22nd, 2024. Getting ready for a little Turkey Day action next week. We got a game first. Hold the hell on. We got shit going on. We got a lot to get into here today. I'm going to give you my 5 keys to a Buckeye victory, and we're going to talk best bets. We don't have a ton of bets, a ton of games, but we do have a lot of bets. So kind of like last week where we just kind of laid low, didn't get into every single game, but yeah, I got some videos for you. I got Ryan Day on Pat McAfee show, a very quick clip today. Urban Meyer talking about the Buckeye red zone defense. I've got the updated CFP bracket for this week. What else? Oh, we got some Spaghetti Signetti talking junk. Some clips of him. So huge game getting into tomorrow at noon on the big noon, as we are accustomed to. Next to last big noon kickoff. So there is a bright side, kind of, sort of. You know me, sunny side up guy. That's me. Hey. Question for the chat. Why don't you just start dropping in your score predictions for the Ohio State-Indiana game. I'll give you me, Jeff, and Sean's predictions from last Sunday night. When I get into the best bets, we'll go through the Buckeye game, of course, in detail. So, but let's start it off here with the 5 keys to a Buckeye victory. I will get to your questions and comments, so if you have anything you want to talk about specifically, drop it in the chat. If you want to get fired up, listen to this asshole. Hopefully you can hear him.
Good bar for the drive.
I figured I had to make this trip up here since we'll be playing in this game next year.
Oh, I like that.
I like that.
I like it. Are you willing to go on record with that prediction?
I am on record.
All right. All right.
Funny
Good
guy.
bar for the drive.
I figured
guy
I
at
had to
Spaghetti.
make this trip up here since we'll be playing in this game next year.
Oh,
Yeah, all right. So, called a shot. That was Big Ten Media Days over the summer, by the way. Then we all know this one. This is a beaut. Hopefully you can hear that. That's where he calls out like half the Big Ten, says everybody sucks. I like how he leads with Purdue. Purdue sucks. Yeah, thanks, Captain Obvious. No shit. Michigan sucks too. Yeah, we're well aware. This guy is like a truth sayer. Anyways, so we know what he's all about. A lot of bluster, a lot of big talk. A lot of swagger. This team's going to come in with a ton of confidence, undefeated, and even though their record is 106th strength of schedule so far this season, it will get a little bit tougher this weekend and next weekend a little bit. But anyway, let's get into it here. Weather is supposed to be a high of 46 tomorrow in Columbus. Precipitation, very low chance, 20%. Wind, 12 miles per hour, so not too bad. The elements should not affect the pass game in any way. Hopefully not special teams either. We always seem to have some issues with wind and shit when it comes to kicking the ball. But anyway, so the Indiana Hoosiers and Coach Spaghetti is bringing in his James Madison University All-Star team. But we got something for him here. I'm starting off with the Buckeye defense here. Key to a Buckeye victory, number 1, coverage and rush working together. We're talking about the rush part of that right now. We got to go in there. We got to heat up Rourke, the 2-time All-MAC quarterback, by the way. All-MAC, that's right. So you got to go in here pressure Rourke. You can't let this guy get into rhythm because he'll start dropping dimes, those back shoulder fades. Everybody knows that's their favorite go-to pass play. So the Hoosiers, as a team, have the best offensive grade in the Power 4, according to PFF, 92.4. But the Buckeye defense has a 94.2 defensive grade. That's the best in America on defense. So strength against strength here. And again, we're talking about the rush part of the coverage and rush working together. Under pressure, Rourke is only a 50% completion guy. So you got to get this guy heated up. He only has 58 pressures on the season. That's pretty low. His average depth of target is about 10 yards, but his average drop back time to throw is 2.54 seconds. That's 8th fastest in Power 5. He's the number one passer in PFF's Power 5 grades. And they do it a lot in the quick game. Get the ball out quick. Again, depth of target, just 10 yards, so he's not launching it down the field. They're moving in small chunks here and there. Now the Hoosier Daddy, the offensive line struggled against Michigan's defensive line. If you remember that game, they allowed a 43.8 pressure rate to the Cheaters and a 41% pass blocking grade. You remember, when it comes to the grade, 60 is average. The Indiana O-line pass blocking grade was a 41, so horrible. So now, maybe the Buckeye D-line isn't quite as good as the Cheaters. I would say it's pretty close, but it's easily the next best D-line that they have faced this year. So all 4 of the Buckeye D-linemen should be drafted in the first 4 rounds in 2025. Ty Hamilton, JT Tuimoloau, Jack Sawyer, all should go in the top 4 rounds. So I look for plenty of pressure and lots of blitzing. You're going to see some linebackers. You're going to see them bring in 5, the occasional safety or corner blitz. So you got to heat this guy up. You can't let him just sit back there in rhythm and start plucking the place apart. So key to Buckeye victory number 2. This is the coverage part of coverage and rush working together. And I'm looking at Burke and IGB, but the safeties are involved here as well. They got to do their part, So we need a clean and confident couple of outside corners here with Denzel Burke and IGB. You got 4 of the top 40 PFF graded receivers in the Power 5 for Indiana. 4 of the top 40 in Power 5. These guys get a ton of targets. Let's see here. Let me pull these guys up. I want to talk about the different sizes of these guys because they're not monsters. These guys are not big. So you got Elijah Surratt. He's probably the most dangerous at 6'2", 209. Not quite as big as Jeremiah Smith, but maybe more like closer to a Carnell Tate, maybe not quite as heavy. But he does most of their damage. He has 62 targets on the season, 38 receptions, 685, and 6 touchdowns. Now, this guy doesn't crank out a lot of huge plays, but he does force a few missed tackles. He has some nice yak yards. He averages 5.6 after the catch, and mostly runs outside. He will occasionally move to the inside in the slot. So he did a little bit of that against the Cheaters. So don't forget, Indiana's coming off a bye. The last time they played was against the Cheaters. So these guys have had 2 weeks to rest up and get ready for this game. Then you got Miles Price. He's 5'9", 183, so another small guy. He has 36 targets on the year and just 377 yards receiving. Then you got number 3, Omar Cooper Jr. He has 41 targets on the year, just over 500 yards, 527, and 5 touchdowns. And then Keyshawn Williams, he is 5'9", 189, so another shorter receiver. He has a total of 33 targets and just over 300 yards and a few touchdowns. So those are the wide receivers you got to look for. Again, those are 4 of the top 40 PFF graded guys. Now, Curtis Rourke, we just talked about him. He leads the nation in passing grade in Power 5. And this receiver group, has the best receiving grade in FBS, all of college football. As a group, they graded out a 90.8. So that's respectable. What else? Buckeyes are 7th in the country in coverage grade. So just when you think, you see a bad game from Denzel or IGB or both, they really aren't doing that badly as a team in coverage. So all 5 starters in the Buckeye secondary will be drafted this year or next year. This year, Denzel, IGB, Jordan Hancock, and Lathan Ransom will all be drafted. And then in 2026, Caleb Downs definitely will be gone. So looking back, the only time Ohio State allowed more than 17 points this year was in the loss to Oregon. Now, the Ducks attacked the perimeter of the defense, attacking those sidelines. They avoided the safety, so they didn't really look a lot down the middle of the field. So they avoided Caleb Downs. They avoided Lathan Ransom for the most part. So Dylan Gabriel had 36 completions against the Buckeyes that day. Only 5 of them came in the middle of the field, between the hashes. So you got Denzel Burke. He had his worst game of the year against the Ducks. But on we don't need to rehash that. 8 targets, 179, 2 touchdowns. Anyways, Rourke is, again, the highest graded quarterback in the country, but only 95th in pass attempts. He only has 82. So that's not right. Yeah, that's not right. Anyway, I think that means down the middle of the field, or to the out. Oh, that means the outside. Sorry, my bad. 95th in attempts to the outside. So Indiana's offense is all about winning over the middle of the field. So he should consider targeting the sidelines more. So look for that between Burke and IGB. But we need these guys to be clean and confident. And what do I mean by that? No penalties, IGB. I mean, he's going to have one. I mean, you can wish for no penalties, but it's going to happen. We have to all accept that, right? And then Denzel, be confident. His confidence kind of wavers sometimes. Maybe it's just his body language. Looks like when he gets beat sometimes, though, I don't know. He doesn't have that typical Denzel swagger. So, key to a Buckeye victory number 2 was the coverage part of coverage and rush. All right, number 3. These are we're going kind of long on these because it's a big game, top 5 matchup. This one is the nasty O-line. Oh, hold on. We got Sean. Looks like he's trying to join. We'll let him in here on an unusual Friday appearance. I just sent him the link so he can pop in. Let me get my headphones on. Right in the middle of my 5 keys. All right, so we'll let him get in here. I'll continue. I want to see, this is key to a Buckeye victory number 3, the nasty O-line. I want this O-line to be road graders in the run game. I want them, they're going to need a little bit of help in the pass pro. That's no problem. But we need road graders in this run game. We'll just check in, make sure. Okay. What else? So we got Carson Hinsman, Austin Sareveld coming in. So they're being moved around here. Sareveld starting at left guard. Then you got Carson Hinsman coming in. 1 second. I got Sean jumping in here. Yeah, I got you. Oh, says you're offline. What the hell?
Too.
Okay. Looks
What do you
better
know?
now. All right. All right, we got Sean in here now, everybody. So, Sean, where do you want to go? I'm in the middle of my 5 keys to a Buckeye victory. I started off with my first 2 were coverage and rush. Rush was number 1, coverage was number 2. Now I'm talking about the O-line. We got Sareveld and Hinsman moving around along that O-line. So what do you want to jump into?
Are you talking about our rush game or our pass rush or stopping their rush?
Coverage and rush as in pass coverage and pass rush.
Gotcha.
Working together in unison.
Well, at first I wanted to know why I was chiming in here was what's the deal? What's the info on this line moving 4 points basically over the past 5 days?
Yeah, I don't know. It.
I mean, the money's got to be coming in Indiana, obviously.
Mm-hmm. It's not because of the injury to McLaughlin, because that was days ago, and this line just moved today. So, I don't know. Sharps usually come in late, so is this considered late for them? I don't know.
I mean, just looking at how the seasons went, I mean, that's a lot of points to a team that, has only, has won by double digits every game. And with Ohio State's ability to start slow, if you will, it's a little bit scary. I can see how some of that money be coming in like that, but I don't know if I remember a line moving that much on a Buckeye game, sans, a quarterback or somebody going, something big happening. That's a big swing. I mean,
yeah, that's what tells me it has to be like a combination of things because, like you said, there's no quarterback change here, right? So I don't know.
It's very interesting.
Yeah. It's Brian Hartline's birthday today. Does that do anything for you?
No, it doesn't.
Okay. I don't know, man.
Happy birthday, though. I mean, I hope he has a great day.
Yeah. Best Fridays in football. So, yeah, unless there is some, news that is yet to be broken or released, which I'd be shocked, They don't do anything on Fridays but do walkthroughs. So I doubt Will Howard, rolled his ankle in a walkthrough. But we cannot afford to lose another O lineman, that's for sure.
Oh my gosh.
This is one of the worst.
I didn't feel we could lose the ones that we lost.
No.
It's still a big concern point for me, and I know you sent the thing a couple weeks ago that Ohio State's O-line, one of the best in the country, but I just don't see that mad dominance, aggressive, just dudes that want to eat people up.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's kind of what I'm calling for here with my key to a Buckeye victory number 3 is a nasty O-line. I want to see road graders in the run game. Give them some help in pass pro, especially the left side. Chip them with some running backs and tight ends over there, whatever it takes. We're supposed to have Kazmarek back from injury. He's been out for a few weeks. The right side has not been great in the run game, but I just want to see these guys come together. And again, Sareveld, he's been okay in his snaps. He does have 250 snaps on the year. So it's not like we're bringing in a guy that hasn't seen any action. He started the first 2 games of the season against Akron and Western Michigan. He had 66 snaps in both of those. Then he had 26 against Marshall, 30. He was switching time with Tegra. They were kind of going through a little bit of a mid-season position battle there at right guard. And the first 2 games, though, he was filling in for Donovan Jackson when he was out. But anyway, 30 snaps against Oregon, 10 against Nebraska, 13 against Purdue, and just a a few against Northwestern.
Well, let,
So,
let me ask you, what's the deal with the Kazmarek? I mean, he's a tight end, right? But now am I
yeah.
seeing that he could go in on O line, or just we'd bring him as a tight end on blocking downs?
Yeah, he's one of the better blocking tight ends. So having him back and just having depth at, along that tight end position is key. So, yeah, I think you use him, line him up over there on the left side to help out Donovan Jackson and Saraveld.
But they're not considering him to be on the O line in one of the
No,
five
no, no,
spots. Okay,
no,
okay.
no. And Hinsman's been doing well the last 3 games he started. He started at Penn State, had 64 snaps, did pretty well. Pass blocking grade was a 71. That's awesome. Did not allow a single pressure. Allowed 1 pressure against Purdue and then 1 against Northwestern and a sack last week. So not a great game against Northwestern for him. But, again, he started 12 games last year at center. So at least you got somebody with serious experience. And
Right.
he's played 240 snaps total so far this year, all at guard, of course. But he was an Iron Buckeye over the summer, so that's big. It tells you that, when he played those 12 games last year, he was not physically or mentally ready. Now, I think he, getting in the weight room, he's up to 300 pounds, 6'5", so this guy has the size and the strength, obviously, to fill that position. It's not an ideal situation to be in, of course, but it's the best we got. It's better than going to the redshirt freshman Josh Padilla, who has like 29 snaps, and again redshirted last year. So yeah, I feel good about those guys, and I think the Buckeyes. We still, I know this Indiana team has 25 transfers, a lot of new faces, but we still outweigh these guys in the trenches. That hasn't changed much. Their best D lineman is Mikhail Kamara. He's an edge rusher, but they move him inside too. He's only 6'1", though. He's 6'1", 265. He's their best player. PFF has him going. They have him ranked 135 in next year's draft. So what is that?
Those guys can scare me, man. That's some Aaron Donald type shit there. A compact
Right.
dude that you can't
Right.
block.
Yeah, if he's fast at 265, then yeah, he can be a real problem inside or outside.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, the O line's going to need some help in pass pro for sure. Running backs are going to have to step up. Especially when they bring pressure, of course. And then, again, the tight ends. They're going to have to, line up all over the field along the line of scrimmage and help out. Just get a chip or, if you need to use 6 to block, then do so. But my key to a Buckeye victory, number 4, Will Howard needs to be a key part of this 3-headed running game monster. There's no defense for it. This is a numbers advantage when the quarterback is involved in the run game. The Hoosiers haven't faced a passing attack with as much talent as us as well. But Will Howard's quietly having a big-time year. He has the 8th best passing grade in the country and has 24 passing touchdowns. That leads the Big Ten. So all the praise I just gave Curtis Rourke about being the number 1 graded quarterback in FBS, you got to also tip your cap to Will Howard. Now you got 2 factors going against this Indy defense. You got a dynamic pass rush group. Like I mentioned, Kamara, he's 4th in FBS in pass rush grade. He leads all of college football with 53 pressures. Plus, they have 7 other Indiana guys that have racked up at least 10 pressures. So it's not just coming from one guy. Now, since week 7, when we lost Josh Simmons, the Buckeyes rank 115th in all of college football in passing blocking grade. So not great. Then, icing on the cake, we lose Zen Mahalski. Awesome, right? So you got Donovan Jackson moving out to left tackle. he's adjusted well over the last 2 weeks, even though it was just against Purdue and Northwestern. But hey, it's better than playing like shit, right?
For sure.
Yeah. So you're going to have that Kamara guy line up over Donovan Jackson often at that Donovan at left tackle. And then you got Indiana's coverage schemes. They're unique because they rotate their safeties around quite a bit. They show you one look pre-snap and then switch it after the snap. The Buckeyes do the same shit on defense. But the goal is to force quarterbacks to see the rotations after the snap and slow down their decision making, so it can the quarterback throws late or the pass rush has more time to get into the pocket, right? And Howard is a 58 passing grade this season when defense rotate their coverage. So Will has to do his damage with his feet. And not to mention Quinshawn and Trey, obviously, doing damage with their feet. But Will has to, I don't know, maybe 8 to 10 carries this week. What do you think of that, Sean?
I'm fine with that, and they don't need to be 40, 50-yard runs, but they're obviously going to have their hands full to try and account for our wide receivers and running backs. But yeah, if he can do some timely, second down runs, second and 7, everyone's backed up and passing, and boom, he gets the first down. I'm all for that. I feel like I don't know the numbers on it, but I feel like we should be doing a little bit more of that all season long. But I mean, you obviously don't want your quarterback taking a bunch of hits either. So, but I think he's capable of it. He's got the size to do it. He's got the athleticism to do it. And now's kind of the stretch where I think we're probably going to need something like that. And basically all the games going forward, that's going to have to be a component. You're going to have to keep these defenses honest. And if, with all the other problems our offense offers, if he becomes a problem, if Will Howard becomes a problem as well, I don't know how a team's going to deal with it.
Yeah, his rushing stats on the year, this does not include sacks. He has 268 snaps in the run game, just 59 attempts, but he has 184 yards, a 3.1 yard average. A lot of those are the keepers, right, for like a 4th and 1, push type stuff. So, but he has 6 rushing touchdowns.
How many first downs, or does it give you first downs on those runs?
Yeah, he has 20 first downs. That's huge, right? That's like 2 per game.
Yeah.
And just 9 scrambles out of the 59 attempts there. And forced missed tackles. He has 7 forced missed tackles. That's like running back numbers almost. So in yards after contact, he's okay. But when you're doing a lot of tush-push crap, there's going to be contact after a yard. But, one thing that he's got to tighten up is he has 7 fumbles on the year. So we cannot be giving away. I don't know.
Regardless, though, yeah, keep it off the ground.
Yeah, we can't be giving away possessions in this game. That just gives Indiana, life. So, yeah, again. Great decision making in the RPO game is going to be key with Will, and then mistake-free football. Last one, Keto Buckeye victory number 5. Nobody rides for free. I had the Rat song in my head when I was taking a walk today. I couldn't get it out of my head. I
gas, grass, or ass.
That's right. But so yeah, I was just thinking, bring the heat, and this applies to players, fans, coaches, everybody in the stadium, cheerleaders, water boys, you name it, even the doctors. Let's show some emotion. Let's be loud. Bring the heat all day long. Make these James Madison University All-Stars feel you all day long. This is essentially a playoff game. You don't want to lose this game and mess around and see if you get in with some help. This is an early round playoff game. And let's take these clowns into deep waters, see if we can beat James Madison University's all-star team.
Well, I mean, I'm they're coming off the bye, right? So they're going to be
Yeah.
well prepared.
Yeah.
They'll know everything Ohio State's got planned for them. It's just, hey, can you stop it? But I look back at that Michigan game, and they scored 3 points in the second half. And if we can kind of lock them in, and that was without Will Howard in Michigan's secondary. That these guys going up
Johnson.
again. Now Michigan's got a good D line or whatever, but I mean they
Yeah.
basically blanked these guys in the second half and held them to 20 points. I think
Right.
Michigan's probably the best defense that they faced all year. I'm
Yeah.
guessing. I haven't looked at
Yep.
their whole schedule, but
Definitely. Yeah.
um, I think if the Buckeyes come out and with our safeties, our corners, and if our ends can get the pressure and the linebacker, Indiana needs to come out and start this game fast. If not, I think this game could get away from them.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah. And what you do is you think that Ohio State usually defers when they win the coin toss. I say go ahead, because if you can get a quick 3 and out on defense, that's just as good as taking the ball first, right?
Well, it is, but we've given up a lot of long drives on those first things. So
It happens occasionally, yeah. But if you think about like at a noon kick, if you can get the crowd into it, and maybe you get I don't know, not necessarily a penalty, but Indiana just is having communication problems because the crowd is so loud. You get them into a 3rd and long maybe, and you can get them off the field, with a quick 3 and out or something. Having the crowd behind you as a defense has to be a weapon, right?
you would hope so. And they're saying it's going to be loud there. This is a big game, and Indiana's not used to a game like this. This is the biggest game Indiana's played in 50 years.
Yeah, definitely.
So I'm hoping these James Madison boys that the moment's like, oh shit, this is the big time, and it gets a
Yeah,
little loud.
exactly. Exactly.
But we
Let's
need
see.
to come out strong. I'm always of the I just feel it sets up better. I'm always defer. If you win the toss, you defer. That's to me that's the go-to. Unless you're, one of these Big 12 teams that nobody plays defense, and it's
Yeah.
58 to 55 finals. I, I always say defer because you always get that thing where you can maybe sneak in a field goal or a score before the half, and then boom, you get it back,
Right.
and that can be crushing.
Yeah. Ryan Day talks a lot about winning that middle 8 minutes,
Oh,
or even the middle
going
four.
into the half and coming out.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's always his focus. If you can score in both of those windows, or at least
Hmm.
win that battle, the scoring battle over that middle 8, that usually helps. Going into the fourth quarter, you usually come away with the win there. So yeah.
My
Well,
big concern looking at this game, just from the raw numbers, was just how good Indiana is against the run. Um,
mm-hmm.
what are they giving up, like 70 yards a game? Again, I don't know what they gave up. Let me look here to Michigan. What they give up running? Michigan ran for Michigan only ran for 69 yards on these guys,
Yeah.
and that's what Michigan does. So
Mm-hmm.
that's a little bit concerning to me. I mean, my Trey and Q are gonna, and the O line need to step up, and we need to have a 150-yard rushing day against these guys.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of strength on strength there. The Buckeye run game averages 184 per game. That's 33rd in the country. And like you mentioned, IU, they average 79. That's second in the country to opponent rushing offenses. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see who wins that battle. I'll go back and say it again. Our trenches, the weight, the size across the board is our huge advantage. And that's why I think you bang on these guys for 4 quarters and wear them down and take them into deep waters. And not to mention the talent advantage. I mean, I've got some graphics for you here. I know some people don't buy into all that shit, but yeah, here it is. So yeah, the roster talent comparison here. You got the Ohio State Buckeyes with 14 5-stars, Indiana 0. Ohio State Buckeyes 55 4-stars, Indiana 10. And 3 stars, Ohio State 11 and Indiana 57.
It's a legit metric, but it needs to be. You got to tease the data out of it a little bit, because you've got a lot of transfers that have come into Indiana, and you've got guys that have been playing 3-4 years of college football, and
Right.
so a guy that's got 4 years experience playing college football over a 4-star kid that hasn't played yet or whatnot, to me that's a wash. The kid with experience, that's how Michigan State back in the day. With D'Antonio, they were competing. They had old teams, fourth and fifth year seniors, and then a couple solid kids to go along with that, and they can give you a game.
Right. But how many of those can you develop, those 3 stars, into 4s or 5s even? I mean, you can't hit on all of them, man. You can't hit on 80% of them either, I don't think. If you can hit on half, make half of those 3 stars, the 57 3 stars, make those guys play above a 3-star level, you're probably winning. You're probably in good shape. I don't know if that's real.
But I think if you're bringing in a bunch of 3-star kids, basically that were transferring in that came out of high school at 3 stars, you're not bringing in the guys that are rum-dums anymore. You're bringing in the guys that have shown out, and it's like, hey, I've progressed. I'm moving from this shit league to the Big Ten. Yeah, and that's a big jump. And there's some quality back there. I just hope, I've harped on it a few times on our Sunday show, that let's put these guys to the test. They can probably make plays on us, but let's not only have 50 plays. Let's have 70 plays.
Yeah, we've been one of the slower teams in the country when it comes to average time per play. So we've been letting the clock tick down, huddle up, get the call in from Chipper and move about our day. But this for some reason this offense has not been in a rush this year. So I'm popping the comments up here on screen while we talk. PC says, "Hey Joe, Billy, how are we feeling?" I'm feeling good about this game. Sean, what's your overall feeling? Confidence?
You asking me?
Yeah, what's your overall? Are you feeling confident in this game? This game?
I am, but you know me, I'm always a little anxious on these big games. And, if it was, I hate to say this, but I will. If this was Urban Meyer, my anxiety level wouldn't be as high. But this is a huge game. And this to me can be a defining game for Ryan Day and his tenure at Ohio State. It's another top 5 matchup, or what are they 5 now? I'm not sure what they're ranked.
Yeah, they're 5, I believe, in the CFP rankings.
It's a big game. Indiana's earned it. They're not bums. They're not. I mean, they're a playoff caliber team, and I think they'll be able to hang with most teams. Again, I'm kind of with you. I don't think they got the bodies, the depth, if you drag them in deep water. But they do have the offense. They do have the ability to score quickly. And if you keep them in a game, it's dangerous. And
yeah, they have a puncher's chance.
Yeah.
Like any good offense, if they can quick strike, move the ball down the field, get a couple scores back to back, get a stop on defense, whatever. If they lead the turnover battle by 2, that's a big problem. A huge problem, yeah. Yep. I got a little clip here of Ryan Day on Pat McAfee earlier this afternoon. Just wanted to play it. It's a really quick one. Hopefully everybody can hear it.
It's Hoosiers team's real deal.
Well, so are we.
Oh! Oh!
Hell yeah.
I love that.
AJ
It's Hoosiers team's real deal.
Well, so are we.
Oh! Oh!
Hell yeah.
I love that. It's Hoosiers team's real deal.
Well, so are we.
That's Ryan Day talking shit. That's him trying to talk shit. He's not a big shit talker, which is fine. It's fine.
No, I
Let
think.
our actions speak.
Well, it's like, I mean, they would never really say something like that about Ohio State. Like, hey, Ohio State's for real. Everybody knows Ohio State's for real all the time.
Yeah.
Indiana, not so much.
Water is wet. The sun came up today. Ohio State's good.
Yes. And this to me is going to be a big, with some of the injuries, if this O line can play together, this could really be the game that puts us on the path. I think that it can define a deep playoff run. You get that O line playing together. You guys run the ball well. You have a convincing victory. Cover or close, and then on to Michigan, Big Ten championship. But you get that mojo. You start believing in yourselves, and the 22 guys on the field. This could be. I feel like any team who wins it this year is going to have to be hot and playing out of their minds, and I don't think any of them are. But now's the
And
time
healthy.
yes, now's the time that needs to all start coming together.
Yep, exactly. You hit it there. You got to be hot and healthy, and the way I like my women. Heyo. Anyway, I'm just cycling through the comments. I'm popping them up on the screen. We've got Billy in here. We got Odysseus, PC, all the usual suspects popping in. So good to hear from them. One thing I want to talk about is Ohio State's defense in the red zone. Number one in red zone scoring. So 52% of the time their opponents score. That's number one in the country. Opponent red zone scoring. This is field goals and touchdowns combined. Now I got a quick little clip here. It's just about a minute long, but it's Urban Meyer talking about the changes Ohio State has made along the D line. Let me get this comment off of there.
Okay, this is really a great
So
look at
hopefully it's not too loud.
the
Hopefully
end zone
everybody can
copy.
hear it.
It's bear zero. Again, bear zero means what? All the offense linemen are covered.
Right.
And there's a reason why you do that. There's no chance of double teams or you have bad leverage blocks like we talked about. So here, you got to make a decision if you're Nebraska. How are you going to handle or try to get the number 20? Nebraska's going to double team them. They're going to get a little movement, try to get the number 20, but then that put the tight end in that's called a loser block. The chance of success, I'll help you with that, zero.
Yeah,
He's
no
not going to
doubt.
block JT.
No doubt.
And look who makes the tackle. We just watched Nebraska make a decision to try to double and have a loser block. Now Penn State's going to try to just base block across the line of scrimmage here. And as a result, you can't get to one of Ohio State's best players, Cody Simon. So again, you see bear zero.
Right.
You can spend a lot of time in the meeting room. There's not a way to block this and run the ball successfully.
You surrender offensively? Is that what you do?
No, I'm going to tell you this right now.
Okay.
If Indiana decides to get 22 guys within a yard of each other and play bear zero and try to run the ball, it's not going to be successful. I think Indiana will they like to throw the ball down there. And remember, as we watch Ohio State, they're number one red zone defense in America.
Right.
Against Nebraska, against Penn State, we're not sitting here today talking about the number 2 team in America if they weren't that good in the red zone. Okay, this is really a great look
So,
at the,
from the
end zone
Herb
copy.
himself.
It's Bears.
I'm sure somebody had to help him with that bear zero crap. But anyway, his point is valid, and it illustrates why this Buckeye defense is so good in the red zone this year. You put a hat on a hat, right? Cover every O lineman, tight end, everything, and that way your middle linebacker is freed up, untouched to make the play, right? Whether it's quarterback, running back, whatever. And we had goal line stands against Oregon. We had goal line stands against what he showed, Nebraska and Penn State. So this is, good to see the defense evolving and showing different looks, right? Different fronts, and maybe not being so vanilla all the time. Again, number one red zone defense in the country. Anything else you want to get into, Sean?
No, I feel like, not to throw shade at the Michigan State little brother thing, but Indiana reminds me of a little brother Ohio State this year. They're solid everywhere. They've been doing all the right stuff. I think they're disciplined, and again, I just don't think they have the dudes. But
Yeah.
but it is a little bit scary. It's not going to be the best team we played this year. It might not even be the second best team we played this year. We lost to the best team by one at their place. We beat the second best team we played at their place. It did take a goal line stand, but in our house with these guys, I like Ohio State in the cover. Just, guys, play loose. No turnovers. Just protect the ball. Even if they come out a little hot, don't, Ryan Day, don't turtle up. Keep going. Go with what got you there. Be aggressive.
Yeah.
And stuff work out. And a little pace, if you will, please. Make those James Madison guys make another 20 plays on the football.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, nice medium pace. Sounds good. The Buckeyes have won 29 straight against the Hoosiers. 6 of the last 7 have gone over. So our score predictions from last Sunday night, I had 31-17. I think I'm sticking with that number. If anything, I might shave 3 off of that Indiana score, go 31-14.
What did I have?
You got 34-24. Taking the over, huh? And Jeff 48-24. So, yeah. Right now the still 10.5 spread, so it's gone down a few points like we talked about. Over under is 52.5.
I think we're due for one of those games where, just everything goes Ohio State's way and like a Wisconsin Big Ten championship game before the Natty, just come out and impose, just dominate them would love to see a 42-10 game out here. And I think it's possible.
Sure, yeah. If it, like I mentioned earlier, if we give them the ball first, get a quick 3 and out, and then go down and score, maybe put up 2 touchdowns in that first quarter, then they're chasing points. And that can go bad. That's when they start throwing it to us. Caleb Downs gets a pick, things like that.
Yep.
Take them out of their game plan entirely.
We'll see, though. Noon kick. What's it on, Big Ten this week? Or?
Oh, this is Big Noon on Fox.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Big Ten's not getting 2 top 5s.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna have to drop my best bets in the comments on this video because we're kind of running out of time. But for this game, I will tell you. So, take the Buckeyes by 13 for the game. Take the over 51.5. Remember, I just said that 6 of the last 7 have gone over between these two teams. And then a couple player props I got for you. Let me know what you think of these, Sean. Travion Henderson, over 57.5 rushing yards. Emeka Egbuka, 1 touchdown or more.
I know Emeka got a touchdown the other week, but I feel like Emeka's kind of been in the background. This would be a great game for him to do that. So, yeah, I love it. Emeka with the score. Trey, to me, the Trey thing is like picking the winner loser. We need Trey to get 57 yards, or we might be in trouble.
Yep. Exactly. And you probably need more than 50 from Quinchon too, right?
I think you need to be at least north of 120 on the ground.
Yeah.
Between Howard, Q, and Trey, and I think it should be closer to 150.
Right. And then what do you think? You think you sprinkle in Howard there for 30, 20, 30? I mean, those can be effective yards if he's getting...
Even 18 if there's 3 first downs in there.
Yeah. But, Emeka's been quiet, but he comes alive in big games. Think about the Notre Dame game last year. He seems to have a touchdown against every big time game. He had a touchdown against Penn State. So, especially these top 5 matchups, you're going to be going to your go-to guy, right? I mean, and he gets open. I don't even know if you can double cover him sometimes. It seems like he's just running routes that where nobody is, over the middle, whatever it is, crossing routes. Use him in the screen game, run those tunnel screens, things like that, and maybe even, throw it to him out of the backfield. He likes to line up in the backfield occasionally.
Well, and I mean, and they're not going to cheat with what Tate's been doing, and obviously Smith. I mean,
Right.
do you have enough dudes on the field to double Emeka?
So you got to, move resources from one area to another, right? So if you got guys double covering a Mecca, then you got to say Jeremiah or Tate's open, right? I mean, if Jeremiah's in single coverage, he's open, right? That's the motto. That's the tagline.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of feel that way about all 3 of our guys, but yeah, for sure, Jeremiah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just running through the comments here. We're getting a few score predictions. I've got a ton of comments. Wow, you guys are showing up today.
It's a big game.
Badass Buckeyes in. We got Buckeye 7084. He's in. John, what's up, John? Okay, John says Signetti is right. Ohio State does suck. Okay. Yeah, we got a Michigan guy in here talking about Bryce Underwood, Sean. Should've
So
known.
just to touch on that real quick, you sent a
Yeah.
number over on text last night. I haven't heard anything outside the 10.5 million for Bryce. Are you saying that there's more money that poured in on that, or what? Or is that for
Yeah.
all 3 of the kids that they've gotten like in the past day?
That was the number that I saw last night. I've seen a wide variety. I've heard a wide variety. That's a 4-year deal.
Yeah,
But still,
yeah.
it's monster. I mean, I've heard LSU was offering as little as like 1.5 per year. And then I heard, Michigan came over the top with 2.5. Well, that 23.5 doesn't calculate. So I don't know where the actual number lies. Probably somewhere in the middle. It's my guess. But regardless, we'll see.
I mean, are they getting a new offensive coordinator as well?
You got to think so, right? I mean, there's a lot of guys out there. I mean, you got Tom Herman. How about him?
I actually heard that as a rumor, possibly.
Yeah.
I
But,
mean, they are picking up a couple good receivers as well. I mean, they don't really have anybody on that team. That
Right.
Samaj Morgan is decent, but I mean,
Yeah.
he's not a
Yeah.
game breaker. He's reliable, but I don't think he's necessarily a game breaker.
If they do get some quality in on the entire offense, like especially playmakers outside you're talking about, they got to be coming in this 2025 class or beyond, right? They're not on the team right now, in my opinion.
No, and who knows what will happen? College football here with all this money and all the transfer portal and
Yeah.
all this stuff. I mean, 10.5 million, that really means nothing to me. What are you going to give me the first year, and I'll decide if I'm staying next year, or I
Yeah,
might go
yeah.
somewhere else.
Yeah, this everything is a 1-year deal, right?
And I think
No.
Michigan, Michigan's going to lose 2 high first round draft picks on defense, and I think their defense takes a step back next year. And I mean, maybe that'll mean they got to throw the ball a lot, and they will. But I would expect these guys to come in starting. But
That's what surprises me is, do they really want to change the offense to more of a run or a pass first or even a balanced offense? Because Sharon Moore got his job under Harbaugh running the ball. He's an offensive lineman by trade, formerly.
right?
So does he really want to get away from the run game?
I mean, there must have been promises made, because I feel like that's
Yeah.
why Bryce never went there. Is like,
Exactly.
look, Michigan, I'm not, I'm NFL talent, and I'm not going to hand the ball off 45 times a game and throw it 12 times. I want to showcase this.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll see. I mean, the kid is a talent. I mean, just watching him play, he's for real.
Yeah, Sean has seen him play at Belleville in person, so it seems like he's a real issue. Could be a real issue, but you do have to surround him. You have to protect him, number one, with an O-line, which is a challenge for the Cheaters right now, and then you got to surround him with weapons, right? And even running backs. I'm not impressed with the running backs this year. Jordan Marshall hasn't played at all. Mr. Ohio football last year, so yeah.
I mean, he's a big kid and he can run too. That's the thing. I mean, he adds that dimension, and it's going to need to be accounted for.
Yeah, definitely.
But he won the state championship as a freshman and sophomore starting quarterback, and he lost last year in the championship, and he got bounced this year by my son's rival school, Detroit Catholic Central, who looks like they're probably going to win it all. That was a game, I don't know, a week or two ago, but that was kind of, everyone knew just because they lined up on the same side. That was kind of the de facto state championship game right there a couple weeks ago.
Heavy bracket, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, it sucks. Yeah, so just pounding through the rest of these comments up on screen.
But if they brought in Bryce, okay, he's going to be a freshman quarterback, and then you're bringing in like two receivers that are going to be. I mean, yeah, not everybody's Jeremiah Smith. You're not going to have a bunch of freshmen out there just dominating the Big Ten. It ain't going to happen. And they didn't pick up a Jeremiah Smith because those guys don't exist.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. You got to see. I don't know, man. If I were a quarterback coming out right now, especially being recruited by Michigan, you got to show me on tape, in games, that you're changing this offense.
Right.
It's like Ohio State in the jack position on defense. It's a mystery till this year. They're finally playing it a little bit, but not with any success.
Right. It's good in theory. It sounds nice.
Yeah. Odysseus says $12 million on Underwood per Bleacher Report. So that's 2 per or 3 per year.
So I still don't understand how this stuff. I mean, they say $12 million. Is that guaranteed? If I stay there 4 years, I get my $3 million a year, or is it front loaded? Hey, I'll come there if I like it. I'll stay. If not, I'm gonna bounce.
You got to think that there's some kind of incentive, like a signing bonus, right?
I would think, and then if these guys aren't competitive, if they, if next year, I expect them not to be great, but then the year after that, if they suck again and just aren't getting the kids, I mean, it looks like they're starting to get some kids now because this is giving them a little bit of juice, but do you want to stay on a middling team? I don't know.
Yeah.
If you're one of the best in the country, do you
Right.
do you want to be what's his name and go to Colorado?
Mm-hmm. Right, and the other thing is, if so, you got Underwood coming in. Does Jaden Davis look at the portal?
Right, because that was their new savior guy.
Yeah,
100%.
He was a savior. Now he's not.
100%. He's gonna be gone, right? I mean,
yeah.
I don't know why they didn't give him some playing time this year. I mean, I heard a bunch of rumors on why and whatnot, but.
It sounded like the family didn't want him to play, and
I heard some of that, and wanted to red shirt him. I mean, what are you hoping to keep that red shirt where you can run Bryce through there in 3 years and then still get a year out of it?
I think they didn't want this shitty offensive line getting their kid blasted.
I think that was part of it.
Yeah. All right, Sean. It's 5:30. I got to pour a drink, and I'll see you Sunday night.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate everybody popping in the chat. Thanks for all the comments. It's a lively show. And like I said, I'll drop the best bets in the comments underneath this video so you can get them in there. I had a rough week last week, 6-12, but we're still over 500. So We'll talk to you guys later. See you Sunday night, 7:30 Eastern. Henry, appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
Talk to you later.
Peace.
Go Buck.